Hey, Son, and welcome to season 3 of the Black Women in Europe podcast. Thanks so much for listening in season 1 and season 2. Season 3 will not disappoint. Go to linktree/Black Women in Europe so we can be social. But thanks and get ready for our next guest.
So excited to finally have Janine Throo on the podcast. She's one of our power listers, and I'm so excited that you're here today. Welcome, Janine.
Thank you very much, Adrienne. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are welcome. Where are you joining us from today?
I am currently living in Belgium.
Okay, and I am usually in Sweden, but I'm coming in from the US. Tell me, before we get going, how's the summer been? Because I heard it's been really hot in Sweden so far. How's it been in Belgium?
I think it's been the same here. It has been really, really hot. But today it's less hot. I think it's now around 26 degrees, but yesterday was really, really hot. So yeah.
And I think that's kind of interesting. You're going to have a hot summer. So, yeah. So what can we do? So one of the things exactly, we enjoy it. But let me ask you, okay, you're so multi-talented and do so many things, but one of them is hair care formulation. So I just wanted to hop right in and see what advice you have for summer hair care. We're having a hot summer.
It depends on where you are exactly, because the humidity of the environment that you're in plays a role in which and I'm going in depth now. So depending on which ingredients have been used in the formula would determine if a product would actually work or not. And that also depends on certain environmental factors. So to give you an example, in Africa, for instance, normally when I'm back home in Europe, I cannot use products that contain glycerin. But when I'm in Africa, I can use them because of the different environment there and the humidity in the air. So it totally depends. But what I would generally advise people for the summer, normally when it's summer, I do wet my hair on a daily basis. I say normally, but because right now I have a slightly different routine, but getting your hair wet and making sure that you put in a conditioner after that is something that I would recommend, because especially when it's very hot, you sweat on your scalp. By just rinsing it out, you don't need to use a shampoo if you don't want to. Just rinse it out and apply a conditioner on your hair to make sure that it doesn't dry up. That would be a good practice to get through the summer.
Okay, now you said a lot in that answer that I love. First of all, there's no one size fits all answer.
Exactly.
So if someone is trying to tell you do this, you're like, okay, doesn't it depend on where I am? So there's no one size fits all answer. So if you're in a humid environment, if you're not. So evaluate that. And then another great answer, something that came to my mind, scalp health. So if you're in a situation where you're sweating a lot,
yes,
you need to rinse your scalp. And so scalp health. And then you said one thing that you personally do and that you advise in a very hot environment, because you're rinsing your scalp, because you're sweating, you need to condition your hair, put some conditioning on your hair after that. You may not need to shampoo daily, but you need to moisturize that hair daily. Is that what I summarized? Is that what I hear you say?
Yes,
basically?
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you rinse the hair, the conditioner that you had put in the day before, for instance, you would rinse it out. So, and the conditioners, it's either a regular conditioner or a leave-in conditioner that you can use. So the conditioner makes sure that your hair doesn't dry up because it contains an occlusive compound. Occlusive means that it has a film-forming property. So it traps in the moisture, it traps in all the well, let's call them the hair loving ingredients that are in that conditioner. That compound that is in the conditioner makes sure that it traps them into the hair shaft. And by rinsing it out, you rinse out the conditioner. That's why it's very important to use the conditioner on a regular basis.
Okay, so great. Now that we know you know what you're talking about, back up and tell us, how did you learn all of this? When did you start formulating hair care products? Why?
Well, it started many, many years ago, back in 2003, actually. But then it was more like figuring things out. So
Janine, you realize that's 20 years ago.
that is now I feel so.
Oh my gosh. No, but that's fantastic for 20 years. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for reminding me.
I know, but doesn't time go fast? I know. Can you believe that? 20 years. Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, it actually started like many other, I think, Black hair entrepreneurs. It started out of frustration. So back then I was living in the Netherlands and I was chemically treating my hair every 3 months, like a lot of other women did. But I also noticed that my hair was really, really getting bad. And well, I did not really notice that. I didn't realize it until one Sunday, rainy Sunday afternoon, I picked up some old photos, because I wanted to put them in this photo album. And I saw some old pictures of myself with my hair like full and healthy. And that is when it hit me that the hair that I had on my hair then was nearly not what I used to have.
And you know what, Janine? You say that it is. You think you're doing okay with relaxed hair, and
Yeah.
you realize one day you get this epiphany, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, what happened? Yeah. So my first reaction was panic, actually, because I although I did notice the hairs on the bathroom floor, but it happens so gradually that you don't even realize that something is wrong. And when I saw the pictures, I actually panicked. And that is when I decided that I had to do something. And that was the start. I started to research on, well, what I researched back then is how to repair actually the hair that I had on my hair back then, how to cool again, how to repair it again. So I started to buy a lot of products in the Indian stores. And back then, I did not have a lot of information. There was not a lot of education around Black hair as in a whole. So I went through a whole experimental period. And then eventually that resulted into me becoming a natural hair therapist. So it was a very long period of trial and error. Eventually, I started to offer consultancy to people, but still did not have the full knowledge, because I started many years ago. I started with products. I started selling products. I started to experiment with herbs, with clays, with oils. And
okay, Janine, but wait a minute. So you started making these yourself?
I started experimenting, basically, because the products that I was buying in the Indian stores that were promising me the 12 inches in 12 days, they were all not working. So
no.
I really needed to dig deeper. And that was actually the start of the whole adventure. I started to mix clays with oils and the most, I don't know. I was recently telling my daughter that back then they were selling this product called the translation is sheep fat. So they were selling this product and it would be the oil coming from a sheep, right? So a lot of people were using it. And afterwards, I found out that it was just pure mineral oil that they were selling as so-called sheep fat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but then this one day I went to a butcher to buy some meat for my aunt, actually, and that was in Amsterdam. And I saw this huge heap of like frozen sheep fat, and I was thinking, well, why not go right through the source? So I bought sheep fat. I melted it in a pan. Trust me, that is not something. Do not do that at home. Do not.
How does it smell?
Terrible. It was terrible. But I did all of that. I did the most craziest things.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad that I went through all of that, because that also helped me to eventually come to understand that there is actually nothing that you can apply on your hair that will make it grow. That hair growth comes from the inside. So I've been formulating since 2003. But I made it a business since 2009.
And that was Sisay?
That was Sisay Cosmetics, yes. Yes.
That's when Sisay Cosmetics was officially launched in 2009.
Exactly, yes. That's also when we opened the first natural hair salon in Amsterdam, and also launched two hair care lines, yes.
I think I remember that. Or discovered you shortly thereafter that.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait a second. So between 2003 and 2009, you had developed two products that you had tested them on yourself and then on other people, and you were ready to manufacture them on a larger scale?
Yes.
Or what does that look like? How many bottles did you do it yourself? How do you get it done? Walk us through there.
Oh, so what I actually did is, and what I still do actually, is that I formulate them myself. So formulation is not something that you do in the kitchen. Formulation is what you do on paper. I use pen and paper to formulate a product. So I first determine what the goal of the product is, what it should do. And then based on that, I look at some ingredients, and I really love to work with unique ingredients. So for instance, right now we have a new line, which is called Venulux, and that is based on fenugreek. I came to that because I have been using fenugreek since 2015, and it has done wonders for my hair in terms of length retention. And that is
now, because you said a good thing, an important point. And so, if you're reading something that says "makes your hair grow," stop. That's not true. You can't put anything on your hair that's going to make it grow.
No.
But what you can do is retain the length that you do have. And so fenugreek is it's an herb.
It's a spice.
It's a spice. It's not fennel.
No, it's like seeds. You also have it in a powder form. I use it both internally and externally. And we even have a new product based on the fenugreek. It's fenudrink, and that is something like you can either use it as a hot tea, so make a tea of it, or you can use it especially during the warmer days. I use it as a cold drink. Instead of just water, I add a bag of Venue drink to my water, and then I drink that during the whole day. It does have a positive effect on your hormones. It helps you balance your hormone, several hormones. It also is very beneficial for women that are breastfeeding, for instance. And it is also known to lower your blood sugar level. So it's very beneficial for people that are having diabetes, for instance. It has a lot of health benefits, but I started to use it on my hair, and I still love to experiment. So I used the powder. I made a mask with the powder. I added it on my hair, and my hair became hard, just like when you would, for instance, if you would use a protein treatment. And my hair became hard. Back then it was winter. So for me, that experience that it made my hair hard, it also meant that when I was going outside, it did protect my hair against the environment when I was outside, both as well as when I was inside. So I started to use the Venugreek mask actually as a protective product. Where everyone else was using protective hairstyles, I was using protective products. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so just to cap what you said. So protein, why did you compare it to a protein mask?
Because
what normally, is the benefits of a protein mask?
Yeah, well, normally if you would use a store-bought protein product, normally it makes the hair hard. When I formulate a protein product, it does not make your hair hard. I actually never did a research why the normal or other protein products makes your hair hard. I think it's because of the ingredients that they use, because a protein does not have to make your hair hard. And that's the advantage of learning and getting to know ingredients, because it helps you to debunk so many myths that over the years have become truth. You know, when somebody tells you something which is actually a myth, and it's been repeated so many times that that myth becomes a truth. The advantage that I have now is that now that I have the knowledge with regards to ingredients and how things really work, it really helps me to debunk all these myths and help other people as well to make them understand how it really works. So that they make informed decisions when it comes to their hair, and especially with regards to their health. Because
you've always said you have to read the label. You like ingredients is everything. Yeah. You always preach that. But I want to understand why you were glad that your hair was hard. Aren't we taught, is this a myth that our hair should be soft? Or because you said you were able to use it as protective style in the winter because it made your hair hard. Did I hear you right?
Yes. So, you know, when you use those gels that keep your hair, really keep them in place, like with a really strong hold, that is actually what the Venugreek was doing. But where the regular gels that are doing that have the ability to damage your hair, the Venugreek was actually feeding my hair. So I started to use that to keep my hair in place. So when I use it, for instance, I don't have to comb my hair for a whole week. And I just keep it in one style, like one bun up on my hair, on my head.
I was going to say a low ponytail or a bun or something, so you're not manipulating
exactly.
your hair.
And that's it for the whole week until you rinse it on Saturday, put it back on Saturday evening, and you're good to go. So I've done that for a long time, and I started to do that out of convenience, actually. But what I did notice is that it made my hair, especially the Venugreek oil that I also applied, it gave my hair a very good shine. But on top of that, it really helped me to retain my length. So that is when I really started to investigate this Venugreek much more than just as an outer inner product that I'm using. And I also started to take it more serious as a potential ingredient for a hair care line.
Okay, now since 2009 to 2023, you formulated a lot of different products. I feel old and maybe it's outdated, but my favorite's still the okra shampoo and conditioner. Why do you constantly, inconsistently formulate new products? Why don't you stop? Why didn't you stop with the okra? Or why don't you stop with the, you have, I know something that has chocolate. Why, chocolate deep conditioner. And I know you have different things, leave-in cream, leave-in conditioner, deep conditioner, shampoo. Why so many different things? Is it because is it back to like no one size fits all, or because people are so unique, or use it for different times or different reasons?
A little bit of both. First of all, I don't believe in the one jar fits all. I think that everybody, so for instance, when I'm looking at different blogs and in Facebook groups, everybody is talking about a hair type. I do not use that. I do not use hair types. I think it's more important to look at the need of your hair instead of the type of your hair. And also with hair type, why I do not like to use it and also do not use it is because it is some sort of a, how do you call it? You know, this whole, a couple of years ago, we had that whole light skin, dark skin conversation.
I think the African American community has been going on for centuries, but maybe in your community as well.
Everything that happens in the US drips to Europe. So eventually we are also
good or bad,
picking it up. But I think that the thing with the light skin, dark skin, it's exactly the same with the hair types. Because if I would tell you that I have 3C hair and you have never seen me, what you would visualize is this light-skinned girl with curls, good hair, blah, blah, blah. But if I would tell you that I have 4C or 4B, what you would visualize is this dark-skinned girl with very hard to maintain, difficult to maintain, not professional hair. And we all have learned in the meantime that that is not necessarily the truth. So I stepped away from using hair types because of that. It's more like a stereotyping thing to me.
I could never figure out my number anyway. It was too confusing. So amen, sister. Good for you for that. Forget the number. Base your hair care routine.
Look at the need of your hair. Don't look at the type. Look at the need.
How do you determine, how does a lay person, a person not like you, who knows about different things, how can I even express what my needs are? How do I know what my hair needs?
Well, actually, I would want to say it's quite simple, but I can understand that it's not. So suppose you're using products and your hair is still breaking, right? So then one of the things could be that your hair is breaking, your hair is dry, regardless of the product, but it can also be due to the product that you're using. That's why it's so important to start to get to know the ingredients. So let's say you have dry hair, your hair is breaking. Then what I teach the people that are following some of our classes is that you then need to go out there and figure out if there's a product that fits the need of your hair. A lot of people buy a product and they pray to God that it works for them. When we actually should do it the other way. Yeah, we actually should.
Well, they see the commercial or they see the ad and they want to have the hair of the person in the commercial or the ad, regardless of what their situation is. You buy into a fantasy. So you need
Yes,
to buy into reality and say, my hair
yeah,
is beautiful the way it is. I just have to figure out how to take care of it. It can be even more beautiful, it'll
exactly.
be easier. So can you touch your hair until it's dry? And when would you do that? Like, you would wash it, you would use whatever products you're using, and then how would you tell? Then you would say, oh, my hair still feels dry. How should your hair feel after you've washed it? So you would wash it, you would shampoo it, and then you would put in, is there a
A
third
condition.
step? Wash it, shampoo, I'm
So
sorry, shampoo it,
no, so there are
condition it.
in my world, in my world, there are 4 steps actually. First, you use a scalp cleanser. Then that's a shampoo specifically for your scalp. Then you use a shampoo for your hair. And the shampoo could be either a conditioning shampoo, a cleansing cream. If you have really dry hair, use a cleansing cream, or you use a regular clarifying shampoo if you use a lot of heavy products on your hair. After the shampoo, you apply a conditioner. Normally, you would apply a normal conditioner, but if your hair is really dry, then I would advise to do a deep conditioner every other week. If your hair is brittle and it needs extra care, I would advise to do every other week a protein conditioner, a protein treatment, actually.
And the
And
difference between dry and brittle is just brittle, it'll break. Your hair breaks easily.
yes, it really easily breaks, which is also something that, because we are always talking about the hair as if it's just an external thing on our skin, but it's not, because it really comes from the inside. And that is what I teach people that are following our programs. It all starts from the inside. A lot of people come to us with hair loss. And what I'm telling them is that hair loss is not a hair issue, it's a health issue. So it's the way your body is telling you that something is not okay on the inside. And your job is to go out and figure out what that thing is. You find the root cause, and then you treat the root cause. It doesn't make sense to, if you have hair loss, go out and buy a shampoo. The shampoo will not do the job.
So you have to look at the whole body, the whole person.
Yes.
If
It is a
you're,
holistic process. Yes.
and you mentioned that the fenugreek, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Is something that you take externally. That's not the first external product that you have. You had years ago a liquid drink. What was that
Yes.
called? Do you still have that?
No, I discontinued that because last year what I did is that we rebranded. So, Cisse Cosmetics was all about the products, but then I figured that it was, for me, it was more important to educate the people. And how do I explain it? So the products were always like a primary thing. For me, right now, the education is the primary thing, and the products are actually a tool to help you to implement what you have learned. So the product that I had back then was called Sea Shake, and it was a liquid supplement containing all the vitamins, minerals, trace elements, amino acids, and what have you, to give your body actually the building blocks that it needs to make healthy hair. And we discontinued that. So yeah, that was what I was telling. We discontinued that line because last year I started rebranding everything. So we rebranded we not really let go of Cisse Cosmetics. Cisse Cosmetics is now operating in the African continent. We
Oh, wow.
rebranded.
Wait a minute. This is news to me. Wait a second. Yeah, because I guess maybe we haven't properly talked since 2020 or something, when you did a fantastic workshop for us when I put together like the Let's Do Us, and we were doing difference for our well-being and our sanity when the pandemic was raging and people didn't know what to do. You did a fantastic
Yeah.
seminar there. And I remember you were talking about niche nutrition. Oh gosh. what's
And scalp care and hair maintenance. Yes.
exactly. So that's what I remember where you're like, you have to eat well, you have to know what ingredients you're putting on your hair, you have to take care of your scalp. Um, so now you're saying that has become the most important part of your business. And this is say that you work so hard on to formulate the products and do all of that. You're focusing that in on the continent in Africa. And is that what you just said? So you still have the say, so I can't get the okra? Am I hearing I can't get the okra shampoo and conditioner anymore? That's only
The
available in
okra,
Africa.
the okra will come back, but under a new brand. We have rebranded. So now we have two brands. Actually, the natural hair therapist, that is the educational part. And then the products are now branded under natural therapy. Because
Wow.
um yeah, because what? Because the idea is that because I'm also formulating skincare, for instance. So if it's about hair care, then it's natural hair therapy. If it's skin, then it's natural skin therapy. So that's the whole division that we brought in. Sisei Cosmetics is now registered in Nigeria, where we are
Congratulations. Oh my
thank
gosh.
you very much. Where we are now going to promote the products. So what we did is we actually brought Sisei Cosmetics to the continent, and the natural hair therapist is also actually putting, how do you say that, setting foot in the continent of Africa as well as in the Caribbean, because in the first week of August, I have been invited to go to Zimbabwe and train a couple of hairdressers to become natural hair therapists. It's actually a 12-month
Fantastic.
program, and I'm going down there a couple of times to give them the practical part.
Fantastic. So, okay, I just have to recap this because I'm so excited. I did not know about this news, and I love hearing your fantastic news. So, you have now two brands, Sisay, and then you have the natural hair
Mhm.
therapist. The natural hair therapist,
Yes.
Sisay, is the fantastic products we've been formulating since 2003, basically, but launched in 2009 under that label. That's been launched in Nigeria. Now, the natural hair therapist, which has become your main focus since, or a huge focus since last year, is the education element, because you've always known over the whole time that it's one thing to have a good product, but if you don't know why you're using it or how you use it and how it's just a part of the whole program of because if your hair isn't doing good, it's telling you something's not good with your health on the inside. So
Yes.
that's part of it, of that whole thing. But then also, since you're going to develop products for skin, you've got the natural hair. What did you call it? In the natural skin.
Yeah, so the brand is the product, the brand that we bring the product under is called Natural Therapy.
Natural therapy. That's it. So natural therapy for hair, natural therapy for skin. But you are the natural hair. So you are now known as the natural hair therapist. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay. So your education. So there's a 12-month program. So if I'm a licensed cosmetologist, I've already
Mm-hmm.
gone to school to learn how to, I don't want to say do hair, but to learn about hair, to be a cosmetologist.
Mm-hmm.
I would then qualify to be able to take your 12-month program to learn how to be a natural hair therapist.
Yes, yes.
You are launching this program in Africa. I'm not saying it's not been launched before, but it's launching on the continent in Zimbabwe. Is that correct?
Exactly, in August, yes.
In August. And so it's a 12-month program. So when you're not there, because you're not going to be there 12 months, how's this program going to run? You're going to go there a couple of times at least through over the next 12 months once it launches, to launch it, and then over the 12 months. But how is that working under 12 months? How does your program work?
So it's an online program, so people can do the courses or the lessons online. Once a month, we have office hours where we discuss all the questions that there are. We have talks about it. I give them tips on what to and how to implement it in their business. And then for the practical part, because during the practical part, I do showcase, for instance, how to do a proper scalp massage on afro hair, how to do a body scan, how to do a scalp scan, how to conduct a questionnaire with people, and how to translate that questionnaire into something that you can then use to create a custom-made therapy for your client. So for instance, if a client would come in and would say that they have hair loss, for instance, then there are certain things that the body gives you certain signals. So one of the things that I always do is check their nails. If their nails are really flat and have like abnormal growth, that is a sign that they have severe lack of iron. And
what
the
if
body,
they have gel fake nails? Can you tell with that?
no, because then it would be covered. It would be covered.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting though. Okay, that's interesting. So if someone comes in with natural nails, you can look at them, or then you can even ask them if you could tell they have gel nails. What are your nails like naturally,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
But it would also come out of the body scan, because we also do a body scan, which is a very easy way to measure the level of vitamins, minerals, trace elements in someone's body. So based on the outcome, you could also advise someone on, for instance, what if they would need supplements and what supplements would be the best to take. When it comes to supplements, I'm actually very easy. I think it's better to use like a multivitamin supplement instead of a isolated supplement, because if you do not know what the deficiency is, because a lot of people, when they have hair loss, for instance, the first thing they think about is, oh, I'm going to buy biotin. I'm going to buy vitamin B complex. I'm going to, and if you do not have a biotin deficiency in your body and you add biotin to your body, that would only result in more breaking hair and other things that it would disrupt in your body as well. So it's very dangerous to just go out there and just take the supplement. So my advice would always be, instead of just use an isolated supplement, use a multivitamin supplement instead.
And I know I've heard you say you prefer to get it from food, so make sure that you're eating
Yes.
balanced and properly, so that. But when you say, oh gosh, what was it that you said? Oh, when you said the body scan, how was that literally done? Is it a blood test? Is it a urine test? Like, how
No,
can you, when you say body scan? Okay.
yeah, it's a non-invasive device that we use. We've been using it I think for 10 years now. And I actually don't even know how they do it, but at first, when we first started with the device, I took it as a joke, actually, until I tested it on my cousin, and a lot of things came out. So you have, it gives you a lot of different reports. It also gives you a report on your heart health, on your kidneys and stuff like that. And up till then, I just thought that it was, I was just testing it out, see how it works. And I asked my cousin to come, and we tested it with him. And it showed out that my cousin had a problem with his heart. Or no, it was a problem with his lungs. And I started to joke about it because we never heard something about that. You never said something. So I started to joke and said, oh, this machine is not working. And then he said, well, actually it does work, because the week before he went through a lot of researches in the hospital, and that is exactly what came out. So for me, but he never told the family.
He just hadn't told you. Oh, he hadn't told anyone.
He hadn't told anyone. So that is when I started to take this a little bit more serious. But when we conduct the body scan, I only look at things that are relevant for the hair growth and the hair health. So I also telling people, do not ask me to give you the report on your heart or whatever. I really want you to go to your doctors for that.
Right, because you're not giving medical advice like that.
No, I am not a medical professional, so it's very dangerous to do that.
But you are using technology to aid that. Okay. So
Yes.
so over the 12 months, so it's self-paced. You say it's 12 months because if you do every month, well, no, because you got office hours, you got to check in. People got to get this done
Yes.
in a year, in the 12 months.
Well, it's
Right?
very intensive. Yeah, it's very intense because you really learn a lot during these 12 months. And then you also have this practical part where you also learn how to treat someone, but you also learn, for instance, what I'm going to do in Zimbabwe is like hospitality. How do you let me go a step back. So normally when you go to the black hair salons, especially here in Brussels, when you come in, they actually look at you as you're coming there to bother them. You know, when I am actually a customer bringing you in.
Is this in Montagne?
Sorry?
Is this in the Montagne section of Brussels?
It's the yes.
Because I used to live in
Especially
Brussels for 4 years. So you just cracked me up. I think I know what
there.
you're talking about. Yeah.
So it's like, they rather have you not come in to bring them money. So that's also a part of the training, how to welcome somebody. And depending on the services that you offer, how to inform people, because sometimes people just put you in a chair, you're waiting there forever. Nobody says something to you. You don't know what's going on. It's like, so these
That's
are
true.
things that are included in the in the how to talk to people that you're actually getting money from for providing you a service. So what you're providing a service for. So these are all small parts that are part of the training.
Okay. So at the end of the 12 months, what happens? They do the practicum, they've completed all the coursework, you've had all the office hours, you answer all their questions. Do they receive some type of
Then
certification?
you do an exam. Actually, you do an exam because,
It's a written exam.
sorry?
I'm sorry, it's a written exam or
Yes.
talking exam. Okay.
It's a written exam, and also the practical part is also part of the exam. Actually, how do you do that? And then when you pass everything, you then become a certified niche natural hair therapist. And with that, the aim is actually that we create a lot of niche certified natural hair therapists, so that when someone sits in your chair, they know that you actually know what you're doing and they know what you're talking about, and that you use a holistic approach when it comes to hair care. And that is also something that I would like to highlight. A lot of people, when they talk about hair care, what they mean is what you apply to your hair. So the shampoo, the conditioner, the leave-in, and what have you. As a natural hair therapist, hair care for you starts far before you can even see the hair. So it starts from the inside. It starts with nourishing your body. It starts with the meditation. It starts with having enough rest. It starts with exercise. So it's a totally different concept than you would find at the regular hairdressers.
What's a lifestyle that you're teaching?
Yes. It's a healthy
lifestyle.
Yes.
So now you're physically going to Zimbabwe because that's something that you want to do. You have a partnership. Again, congratulations that you launched there. Now, what if I'm a licensed? Oh, you're so welcome. So proud of you. I'm happy for you. And for all the people that are going to be touched by the niche program and the lives you're going to change. And it may sound corny, but changing someone's lifestyle is changing their life.
Yeah,
And when
yeah.
people have the feel better and look better and have the hair they want, they're more confident. It's just a trickle down
Mm.
effect. If I'm online and you're not going to come to my country, I can still benefit from how will I get the practical experience, or would you do that by Zoom? Like you would show me how to do the scalp massage and
Yes,
the
that's
evaluations?
going yeah, that's going to be online then. Um, but it would be better to have it in person because then I can actually show. It's better to have it in person. We are also now negotiating with a company in Nigeria that wants to train 20 people to become natural hair therapists. So that would also
Fantastic again.
means that I would have to travel down to show them how it actually, well, yeah, to show them the practical part. Yes.
So now can people come to Brussels to learn it from you if they sign up for the training?
If you sign up for the training, it's going to be online. I mostly operate. We recently started to do the practical part in the Netherlands, not in Brussels, in the Netherlands.
Okay, so there would be an opportunity. You would do the online
Yes.
part online, of course, but there would be an opportunity to do in person in the Netherlands.
Yes. Yeah.
And is it a school or your training program? Has it officially launched? It's going to officially launch in Zimbabwe on the continent, but has it launched anywhere else already? But this is all going to start later on
No, we
summer.
already incorporated the niche certification program. So we have a couple of ladies in Europe that did it, that went through the program. The same ladies also went through another program called Hair Health Reboot, which is actually something that you also learn during the niche. But this is the first time that we are going, let's call it outside. So to the African continent, yes.
Okay, so how do people sign up for this? I can't do this if I'm not already a licensed cosmetologist. Or can I start from
Well, you don't have
scratch? Can I do this just for myself if I
yeah.
just want to know how to take care of my hair?
Yeah, that's why we offer several programs. But you don't have to be a cosmetologist to become a natural hair therapist. Right before COVID, I was contacted by a school in Texas, and they wanted to train a couple of their students. I think it was called a Second Chance School. I don't exactly know what it is. But what I can imagine is that it's a school where dropouts still get the opportunity to learn something and then start their
Sounds like that. Maybe where
Yes,
traditional high school didn't work for them or something,
yes.
where they can learn a
So
trade, a skill.
exactly. So for that school, well, due to COVID, none of that went through. But for that school, we would have like a customized program. So you don't specifically have to be it will be a little bit harder because there are also parts on dermatology and etc. in there, which could make it a little bit harder, but it's not really impossible to do if you're not a licensed cosmetologist.
Would it be for somebody who just wants to learn how to take care of their own hair? They're not going to do anything with anybody else, maybe their family,
Then I would
or this is more
advise
advanced.
no, then I would advise to just do one of the other programs. So we have a monthly challenge called Grow Better Hair Challenge. And I always start with, this is not a challenge where you learn how to grow 12 inches in 12 days, but this is it's a challenge that takes you through the steps of how hair really works. So from the growth inside, we explain how hair grows, the growth phases, and then make people understand that if you really want to grow hair, it doesn't come from the shampoo that you use, but it comes from the inside. And then we go to the outside, where we look at the hair maintenance part and teach them about ingredients to look out for, how to look at the need of your hair, what ingredients to avoid, which one can cause dryness. And then on the last day, we create a holistic hair routine together, including nutrition, including hair maintenance, including scalp care and stuff like that.
Okay, so that's something for layperson, for someone who just wants to take care of their hair or their daughter's hair.
Exactly. That is what I would recommend, because then you would have a better understanding of how it really works. And that would also help you to, when you're going out to buy a product, it would help you to determine if a product would work for you or not.
And how long is that? You say it's a monthly challenge, or?
Yes, it's a monthly challenge.
Okay.
5 days. Yes.
But now, how do people sign up for that, and how do they sign up if they're for the 12-month program if they want to be a natural hair therapist? How do they sign up for how to learn how to make a holistic hair care program for themselves? That's one thing for lay people like me. And how do they find out if they want to be a natural hair therapist and commit to 12 months? How do they find out about it?
Yeah, for both programs, actually, they can simply sign up using the links, and the link leads to our website, Natural Hair Therapist, and we'll take it from there. So the link, I actually don't know the link, the name of the link by heart, but I think it's something like Grow Better Hair Challenge at Natural Hair. Let me quickly see if I can search it or ask my.
You sound like me. I know I'm bad with stuff like that, but we'll have it in the show notes. So when is the fenugreek product launched? It's available.
Yes, we are currently beta testing it. That means that I'm trying something different and something unique. So normally when you would go to a store, buy a product, then the product is ready made. It's on the market. Everything has been decided in terms of the product. With the beta testing, what I did is I created a product, and then I invited 50 people to test the product and give me feedback. So based on the feedback that people are giving, if it's something that the majority of the people use. So for instance, if someone would say, I don't like the fragrance, I don't like the smell, it doesn't work on my hair, it makes my hair dry, things like that, then we take that in consideration and change the product so that we can actually have a product that works for the majority of the people.
So you're in beta testing now?
We are currently in beta testing, yes.
Okay, so you have your 50 people? It's too late for people to get in.
People can still sign up, yes. Because
if not this one, then they hear about something in the future. Because as we learn, you're constantly innovating and coming out with products.
Yes, so we are going to the second round right now. So people could sign up for the second round. That's still possible.
Now this is August.
Yes.
So just for expectations, so sign up. You should definitely get on the list so you know what's coming out and what's going on. Now, you've written a book over the course of your natural hair care career, haven't you?
I have, and in the meantime, we have 4 books now next to the niche. So the niche was actually a basic book about the niche philosophy. In the meantime, we also have the Ancient Hair Secrets, volume 1, 2, and 3, actually, where we discuss a lot of herbs, Fenugreek, for instance, as a herb is in there as well. Okra as a plant is in there. Because back in the days, my grandma used the okra leaves actually as a shampoo. So things like that. The plants that you can use, because we all know about rosemary and lavender, and but those that are in the continent of Africa and in the Caribbean are not really discussed. We all know about the Ayurvedic herbs like amla and henna and shikakai, but there are numerous plants in the Caribbean, for instance, where I come from, and in Africa that are not even discussed. Last year I was in Nigeria and I came back with some ambunu, and it's marvelous. I would almost say it's easier to use than the okra. It is very mucus. I even combine it.
That slippery feeling.
It gives a super slip. Yes, absolutely. It's very good for detangling. So all these herbs are actually never discussed. You only hear about the Ayurvedic ones. So I made it a mission together with my team. We made it a mission to go out and find the African and the Caribbean ones, and we also have the Ayurvedic ones, and we put them in. It was meant to be one book, but right now we are at volume 3.
Wow. Now, where can you find these? Where can people purchase these books?
This book can be purchased on our website, naturalhairtherapist.com.
Okay. And you say you're from the Caribbean and your grandmother used okra leaves. So
yes.
Natural hair has always been, it's in your blood. You paid attention to these things.
Not necessarily.
How do you know your grandmother used those? Did you see her do that?
Because she told me. And also my uncle, for instance, my uncles used to have dreadlocks, and he showed me when I went to holiday in Suriname a couple of times, he showed me what he was actually using. And it's actually due to my uncle that I eventually formulated the okra line based on his stories, based on my grandmother's stories. It took me 2 years to formulate the okra line. Yes.
So your uncle was using okra sometimes in some capacity. Because you said that he inspired you for the okra. I keep talking about the okra thing. I love it. Listeners, it's the creamiest, it's the super slipperiest. My hair responds very well to it. Let's put it like that. There's no one bottle fits all, but I know my experience. It's just one of my favorite products. But that's one thing I found out about. You get stuck on one product, and I'm like, but you said you came back with something from Nigeria that's even more amazing. So you have to be willing to try new things. If you have to know how, if you trust the person, that's making the offering to you. Like I trust you as a formulator, for you to say, wow, if you like the okra, wait till you see what I came back with from Nigeria. So when do you think you'll ever stop like looking for new solutions or discovering? It sounds like a stupid question when I ask it. Discovering new products, new natural sources.
I don't think I'll ever stop, because that is actually my passion. I love to formulate and see what a product does and how it works, because that is actually how I got started. I started to wonder way 20 years ago, how do people actually make these creams, and how is it possible that, because a lot of creams that I was buying, they didn't work for me, and then there were some that actually worked. So I started to wonder, how is it possible that some of them work and some of them don't, and some of them even cause damage to my hair. And that is where my curiosity actually started, and I started to learn how to formulate, I followed some classes, and that is how I actually ended up inheriting this this passion that is really hard to let go of. So
Because
actually,
what's your,
I'm never
yeah,
going
so
to.
the answer, yeah, it's never. You're never going to, are you?
No, no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
And why would you? So we're lucky that that's your passion. And but what's your other background? I want to say IT. Are you IT person?
Yes, I am. I'm also a certified blockchain consultant. So with my other company, we work on several IT projects actually. And
Because I
I
don't
work
know
a
what that means, blockchain consultant, but IT, people know it, so that's so you know what I mean? You don't have to explain what that is necessarily for me, but but I'm trying to figure out how do you have time to run two companies? And you mentioned you have a daughter.
Yes, I also have a daughter, and she's 17 right now. So, and
No
luckily,
way.
yes,
Okay.
yes, that little girl that you know, she is a
Exactly.
full-grown woman now. And
Wow.
luckily for me, she's also going into IT. So she's going to study computer science next year. At least that's her plan. And yeah, I'm actually really happy. The products, the cosmetics is not her thing. Unless she wants to do her hair, then of course she reaches out for the products. But she's not someone that is interested in formulating. She's more for the really an IT girl. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so you're an author, IT consultant, product formulator, educator, natural hair therapist. That's a
Yes.
lot. So proud of
I
you. That's
I do a
probably
lot.
you do a lot. That's probably not even everything. You're going to be
No,
traveling
I
to the continent a lot this year.
yeah, if, I would like to also mention because that is my well, one of the projects that are really that is really close to my heart. Um, the and it's called Social Africa. I don't know if I ever told you about it. It's a startup company. It's a social media utility platform that is built for Africans and the diaspora by Africans. And what we do there is we help people connect, people in the diaspora connect with people on the continent, tell the stories, connect in the sense of music, art, um, um, food, um, all kinds of stuff. So it's and it's going to be huge.
Now say that again. That sounds exciting. It's up and running
Yeah,
now, or it's in the building
we
stages?
we are currently in beta. We are currently in beta, so we are now bug fixing some of the features that we have. And my goal is to launch somewhere around September. We do have two e-commerce website attached to it where we sell merchandise, we sell ebooks. For instance, one of the books that is coming out now is a cassava book, and it's a cassava recipe book with recipes from different countries from Africa, as well as different countries from the Caribbean and the Pacific. So we combined all Black people know cassava, I hope. So we combined a lot of these ingredients into one recipe book. We also have another book similar to the cassava recipe book is the plantain banana book that's also coming out very soon. So we have ebooks on Pan-Africanism. We are currently working on a history book for children on Pan-Africanism. The reason and the idea for that is when I was talking about Pan-Africanism, my daughter did not even know what it was. And I think it's very important, especially for Black children, to know about Pan-Africanism. So that is why we decided to write a history book, actually. And it's a bit of a futuristic history book where the children are from this age and they travel back to the time of Pan-Africanism and talk to different Pan-African leaders, such as Nelly from the Maroons from Jamaica and Marvin Garvey. All these people, all the children meet these people in the past, and then eventually they come back to the future.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Do you do the writing or you come up with the concepts? You work with the different authors or
I
what's
came
your
up with the
role?
We work with a team. I came up with the concept because of my daughter actually really didn't know what Pan-Africanism was. And I was like, I failed as a mother. And that sparked the idea to write this book.
Well, that sounds exciting. You got a lot. Woo, I'm tired after talking to you, hearing all the stuff you've got going on. Though, but that's typical Janine. Always, that's why you were a powerless. You're always doing something. Okay, so is there, okay, so I'm going to have the website for people to learn about, to buy the niche books and the uh ancient secrets. You didn't call it secrets, did you?
Yes, Ancient Secrets for Hair Loss and Hair Care.
I was right. Okay. For those 3 volumes and the niche book, as well as to get into the practical guide for lay people who just want to know how to take care of their hair or their daughter's hair. This is really good. This would be really good too for um, white parents of Black children that don't know how to take care of their
Oh,
hair,
yeah.
mixed
Yeah.
race kids. No
Yes.
shame in that, come and learn and
Mhm.
why, and
Mhm.
make sure you're teaching your kids and indoctrinating a proper healthy lifestyle with the food
Yeah.
that you're giving it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is something healthy for mothers or parents to adopt so they can teach their kids how to take care of themselves and their hair from, however old it is when you start taking care of your own hair. If you already know what you're eating and that mom or dad, you had a routine, that passes on. You maintain that, you keep that. So you can get those skills from Janine as well, the natural hair therapist. Um, Thank you so much. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? We've got so much going on. Can there possibly be anything else you want to share with us before we say goodbye today?
Mm, No, if someone is interested to do the challenge, that's something that we do on a monthly basis and it's live. So that gives you the opportunity to ask your questions. That is still possible to sign up for. It's monthly and it's always on the 3rd week of the month.
Now, is that a Facebook group challenge or how do people get into the challenge?
We do have a Facebook group, but it's for the people that sign up through our link. And actually, it's my team that takes care of that. So I'm not really aware of what is going on, but we have a link that you can use to sign up. And then you can be added to the Facebook group where you can give your review, where the replays are for the day before, where people can connect with each other and discuss the events. I also drop nuggets in there, things like, the obvious products do not grow your hair, drink enough water, those things, just to help people remember. I also, for those that are not ready yet to jump in, I also have a free ebook that I offer. And it's a free ebook where we debunk a couple of myths. And the title is five myths that natural hair lovers believe that keeps them from having results. And I can share the
Okay.
link with you, and then people can sign up for the free ebook.
Yeah, we'll have all of that in the show notes. Okay, wow, you're offering a lot to people. Okay, so that's good. So yeah, so we'll have all of these links. There's too many to mention anyway in the show notes, so that people can just at your time go back and sign up for all of that. Okay, well, thank you. Always feel inspired after talking to you. I always want to maybe thinking, oh, how much water I had to drink today already after I talked to you. So I'm going to take some water now.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Adrienne. It's always good to talk to you.
You are welcome, and continue to inspire. And the next time you come back, you'll have more news, I hope.
I absolutely will. Yes. I'm looking forward to host a natural hair day in Sweden, by the way.
Mm. Are you hosting natural hair days around different places? So when you're in Zimbabwe, for example, or in
We
Nigeria, do
used
you
to
have
do
time
that.
to do that? Yeah.
We used to do that. I stopped actually 1 year prior to COVID, so I cannot blame COVID for that. Um, we
Uh,
stopped. I'm getting a lot of requests from people that they are actually, we used to do high teas, and then combined with the high tea, we do a workshop. Well, now that we also incorporate the healthy living, I can no longer go out and serve people sugar. So the high tea would look a little bit different than it looked
well, you would
before.
do it different. Exactly. You would just do a
Yes.
different high tea.
Yes.
And that's
So yeah,
okay.
so
Yeah.
that's something that I look forward to start again. We did one in Germany. We did one in Brussels when I was living in the Netherlands. We did one in the UK. So yeah, I really look forward to pick that up again.
Well, and you know what? It's interesting to hear how you evolved. See, you're no longer serving sugar. You've evolved. Everyone evolves. So you're like, see, I learned this along my journey.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, and just to let you know, I don't know if you've heard of Good Hair Day Helsinki. They're in
No,
Finland, Helsinki. Okay, it's a
no.
collective of Afro-Finnish community, not just
Mhm,
women, I want to say, but it started just by like a hair focused event for the Black community in
mhm.
Finland, and it's grown so much. But that might be something that you could look at to
Look
present. You
into,
know,
yes.
yeah, to be on a panel. They do several things over several days. But just to bring you into Scandinavia is what I was thinking, because when you said one in Sweden, but Good Hair Day, Helsinki's doing fantastic things. They've been doing it for years, but I can see you being a part of that. Um, so think about that. They just did it. So that would be for 2024. I'm trying to
Exciting.
think, it was this month. Yeah, so I think it's in June every year. So look at what they did, because we would love to have you in Scandinavia, but they do a really good job um, of it in Finland. I don't know of anything in Sweden. So, and anyone listening to this, I know some natural hair uh, uh, people in Sweden, or say they are, and they're definitely people that are doing our hair in
Mhm.
Sweden. So that was definitely be something that I look forward to you bringing to Sweden. Absolutely.
That would be great. Yes, absolutely.
Well, if you could pin us in between Zimbabwe and Nigeria and all these other places that you're going. But I'm glad the world is open back up for you
Oh,
post
absolutely.
COVID, the
Yes.
worst of COVID. So safe travels, and we'll talk to you at another time. Thanks, Janine.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adrian. It was great talking to you again.